Right, well, Godzilla, Kong, the New Empire, the social media embargo has relinquished itself today. We're getting social media reactions. Also important to note, it is looking supposedly, deadline anyway, is saying it's going to do 135 million global opening. That's okay. That's not incredible. I mean, for an Easter box office, I mean, a lot of that's like it's a 4-day weekend. Well, it's a 3-day weekend, but Monday in the UK is at least is also a day off and a bank holiday. 135, it's okay. That's meh, it's all right. It's not incredible. It's okay. But let's get a set of these reactions. It is basically what I had said it was from the test screening leaks that I had, and you'll see it. You'll see them say it. So Godzilla Kong, it rules. Director Adam Wingard fully embraces the tone of a fantasy rock opera, complete with a synth-heavy score, which I'm down for synth. If anyone knows the type of music I like, I'm down with that. Heavy metal visuals and killer 80s needle drops. Incredibly silly and heartfelt at times. It's a sincere love letter to the Showa era. So it is the ultra silly vibe now. It's an atomic blast, a fantastically weird psychedelic trip through the Showa era. It tends to be what they keep doing. With all the vibrance of an 80s album cover, this thing is an absurdist romp. Crimson apes, frost dragons, a delightfully absurd Dan Stevens, another fun entry in the Monsterverse. You'll see everyone praise Dan Stevens here, by the way. A lot of people will. It's a noisy Titan brawl with hardly any human heart to engage us on an emotional level, but audiences coming for the fights alone are getting a supremely awesome tag team match between Godzilla and Kong versus Scar King and Shimo. Most enjoyable Monsterverse movie yet? I really like King of the Monsters, but fine. The one where it feels everybody understood the assignment. The story is a bit thin, but the Titan smashing more than makes up for it. Hits plenty of sweet spots, tons of wild kaiju action, brutal villain for Kong, powered up Godzilla, Dan Stevens having a blast, some legit surprises, so many colors, bring me more Monsterverse. Really great King Kong movie, so it's not a Godzilla movie. That'll annoy a lot of people. The human stuff is notably clunky. Rebecca Hall saddled with too much dry exposition, which that was in the test leaks as well. Kong has so many scenes centered on him. Love the big guy. Final fight sequences are pure monster mayhem. It's pretty much the same. I mean, it's all the way through this. It's more cheesy than entertaining. This is the negative one. Extremely slow due to lack of dialogue. Titans go toe-to-toe. Action's great. It's not enough, though, but it does look good. It misses more than it hits. It's like an 80s cartoon come to life. Insanely colorful. It's like Avatar meets Planet of the Apes. Dan Stevens again, having a ball. It's underwhelming. Feels 90% set up for a final battle, but doesn't live up to it all. Fresh approach to characters. Dan Stevens does rip, though. So, I mean, it's all basically the same kind of stuff. Some negatives, some positives. What do we think? Thoughts, guys? And what do we think of that opening weekend? $135 million global?
That's better.
Actually, I don't know why you're kind of scuffing at it. That's 3 times what they made out of the last one when it was opening at the same time on HBO. And
well, that was also the only film that. Well, I'm scoffing at it because it's not absolutely incredible.
That's pretty good for right now, though, considering Ghostbusters only made 45, which is pretty close to what Afterlife did.
But the budget's going to be high, so it's not good for the budget.
It's not much different than the. Honestly, I don't think that's a bad opening. I think it's going to have legs. I think they're underestimating it quite a bit. What though? Between now and nothing,
maybe. I don't know. I'm not trying to be negative. Like,
no, I honestly think this movie's going to get close to $1 billion, if not.
Really?
Yeah. No, I do. Because the last one
would do that,
and it's getting there. It's close to 700 now. It's still got some legs. The only thing that's going to get in the way of this thing is going to be Kong and Godzilla. Right, because Dune did almost as good as did very well the last couple of weeks. It's been holding in there at like 15, 16, 17 million dollars each weekend now. So that's kind of legs.
It's only closing in on 600 million, not 7.
Oh, 7. I thought it was 7. I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah. No, I was like, don't think that's right, but yeah, so 600.
But this is the only real competition they have. If you think about it, because they're going to be competing for the big screens now.
Yeah, no, true. I mean, I don't. Yeah, true. I mean, look, I'm not trying to be negative. I just don't think that's a great opening weekend. I mean, you're right though. If it continues to have legs, yeah, that would be good. I think what'll be interesting about this film, right, is everyone always says, "Give me a movie where we literally don't have any humans and it's just monsters." Right? That's what a lot of people have been saying for the MonsterVerse. Sure, fine. You've basically got it now. So let's see if it's successful.
Well, and that's what Godzilla versus Kong more so was, because I know you liked King of the Monsters better than I did. And my only complaint with King of the Monsters was just the asinine story with the humans, which I can accept some pretty wacky human stories from my Godzilla films, but the mother was the main issue with that. It's just like,
oh, I agree.
None of what she did made any damn sense whatsoever. And all you had to do was have the bad guys basically just blackmailing her into turning the machine on, and then she's not, part, because her being part of their whole scheme made absolutely no sense whatsoever. But anyway, that being said, I did like the monster fights, and I talked to two people who have seen the screenings of the movie, and they said it's just a lot of cartoon fun. It's like Saturday morning,
Are you talking about New Empire?
Yeah, the Godzilla X Kong one, the newest one. Yeah.
It is. It is. Yeah. That's what my.
And I'm kind of surprised that the early responses haven't been just destroying it, because I thought from some of the stuff I heard, so that means it just must be likable enough that they're kind of overlooking some of the nonsense. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, Culture, what do you think about this? And I'll change the question slightly after I get everyone's opinion.
The fact that it sounds kind of mixed in what you were reading is kind of a problem. I do loathe most of the time the people stories in this version of Kong / Godzilla. If you could find something other than Mealy Bobby Brown to try to carry the story, and superpowered deaf chick, I would love, or kid or whatever. I'm not a super big fan of that. I am a fan of the monsters, and if it's got lots of cool monster fights, I'm going to be totally stoked. Like I said, the first film, it worked. This one, we'll see.
All right. Nick.
I mean, I thought it was a pretty decent opening for this film. I mean, I wasn't really expecting it to hit that even, but coming off
135 million worldwide, really?
Yeah, worldwide.
I don't know.
I mean, coming off of Godzilla -1, I think a lot of people probably showed up for coming off of that. That probably helped it a little bit.
Well, it hasn't happened yet, but yeah,
that's projected. Yeah.
I'm talking about the projection. I think that's a pretty good opening for the projection for it, but I'm not really feeling this one like I was feeling Godzilla -1 personally.
Well, so that was going to be my next question, actually, guys. Was, do you think, because that those reviews are mixed to positive, it's more positive than it is negative, but do you guys think that Godzilla -1, because this is very wacky, that's by design, they are very clearly catering now much more, and understandably so, to children in the MonsterVerse than when they first started. They have clearly tapped, and it's not a slight on them, they've tapped into a better market. They can sell more toys. We've seen that from what they sell now. Do we think that, coming off Godzilla -1, having such a great, fantastic, serious Godzilla movie, paired up contrasting wise with this, an arguably very silly Showa-esque era MonsterVerse movie, do you think that will damage it, or do you think that will promote it more because it is almost counter programming, because it is so opposite?
I think the latter. I think that I know there's going to be some people who are going to try and compare the two. I've already seen some people trying to poo-poo Godzilla X Kong, and I'm like, look, I don't understand. This is not like one versus the other kind of thing. And if you don't want one, that's fine. You don't have to go see it. but Toho, they benefit either way. Godzilla
Hmm.
benefits either way. And to me, I think these are good things because I was one of the first ones to point out that, they figured out quite quick with the disappointing box offices they were getting off the earlier films compared to the toy sales that there was a market they weren't tapping into. And that's why they quickly, pivoted to the more Saturday morning-esque classic Toho style Kong Godzilla. And it's because of the kids. And look, that's fine. Because guess what? Dads can take their kids to this one. They couldn't take their kids to Godzilla no kid was going to sit through Godzilla -1. It'd probably terrify the hell out of them. Some, older kids, yeah, fine. But I'm talking about, no, this one you can take pretty much all ages to. It's going to be colorful. It's going to be fun. I think everybody's going to have a good time. I think it's going to do very well at the box office unless it's horrible. But by these early reviews, I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of stunned. I thought the critics were going to just trash this movie. But yeah, I'm curious what Nick and Culture think too.
Nick, Culture, jump in.
On the earnings, I think 135 million is aggressive. On whether or not you could take kids to see -1, I think it would depend on the kid. I think 10 years. I think 10 years and older probably could have handled that film. I think it would have been
I think more specifically, just to streamline it a little bit, it's more, do you think that Godzilla -1 releasing will be a hindrance to this film being massively successful?
I don't know. No. I don't think any of that's relevant. No, I was getting there.
I mean, it is relevant, but okay.
No, I'm saying is I don't think it will have any influence in the success or failure of this movie. I think they each have their own audience, clearly. I just happen to be a fan of every rubber monster movie you can make, but because I like them. But it's just you're going to have people that are going to go see this because they loved the previous Legendary offering, and then there are people that are going to go back and wait for Toho to do a proper one. So it's just and then you have people who don't care, like me, who'll go see both. But do I expect to enjoy this the same way, and will it have the same effect on me? No. But will it be successful? I mean, relatively speaking, yes. Is it gonna justify another one? I don't know. I mean,
yeah, because he wanted a third.
Yeah, I don't.
Talking about doing a third.
I haven't looked at the budget in a while, so it's not fresh.
Well, I've heard Toho is very happy with the returns they get. So
yeah.
I mean, as long as they make enough for Legendary and Warner to keep doing this, that's the thing is I've heard there's the points of contention between Warner and the whole Kong thing.
What was the budget on this movie?
This one was in I think this was
200 million.
200 million. I was gonna say close to the last one.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean,
thoughts, Nick. Then what do you reckon?
I mean, I think it'll make money. I mean, especially like I said, coming off of Godzilla -1, I think people can go check it out. I mean, it looks interesting. I don't think it's gonna be like the greatest, monster movie of all time or anything. But I mean, I think it'll be fun. I think it'll probably make a little bit. I don't think it's gonna kill at the box office, but I don't think it's gonna be a complete flop either.
Fair.
Let me do this again. Based on multiple sources now, everybody's trying to push the budget down to 135.
Oh, it may have had tax rebates because.
Oh, yeah. If it's that low, then this movie's going to make bank in a half.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if it's 130 odd, then this movie will make a ton of cash, hundreds of millions of dollars actual in profit at that point.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Zaslav did push for them to strip back a bit.
Yeah. Well, they did film in places where they get pretty big tax rebates, so that's probably what that is. And we've got Horseradish Power tipping $2.53, and he says, "Not watching Godzilla X Kong. There is only one Godzilla film, and that is Godzilla -1. And Ghost reminded me that I need to get to HMV to get Wednesday season 1, which was just released in the UK. Thanks, MGM. Everyone's doing releases of things now, trying to bulk up cash on it, it seems. Also, Tom Workin for $2 says, "What I saw as a kid in the 70s, 80s was harder."